Good morning, and I trust that everyone had a great weekend. Just wanted to this morning deliver some information that I think is going to be beneficial as we move forward through the week. Certainly looking at next week, we're looking at ACT, the mock ACT, if you will, for all of our juniors. So obviously looking at, for if you teach 11th grade, for our 11th graders, certainly begin to this week prep them for this mock ACT as they get ready to transition, of course, to the actual ACT that we will take in April. So every certainly item spec and testable material that we can provide for our students, we want to make sure and ensure that we're doing just that if you teach our 11th graders. Also, again, just to piggyback on some things that Ms. Woodruff had sent out in an email as it relates to lunchroom responsibilities and duties, know where your students are. And more importantly, when you get ready to dismiss from the lunchroom, definitely make sure that you put your eyes on the tables and make sure that the students are picking up behind themselves. Again, this is something that we continue to harp on, and we're going to get to the place to where in which we're going to have everyone seated at the at a particular table by class. And if we have to go back to elementary, then we certainly will. If we have to go back to teachers walking their students to and from lunch in a single file line, folks, if that's what it takes, because it's getting out of hand. Students are just simply leaving the lunchroom. Teachers have no idea where they are. Once again, students are allegedly going to the restroom and then showing up 20 and 30 minutes after the fact. We're beginning to see more and more students with vapes. So, I mean, let's just use some common sense. What do you think they're doing when they leave the lunchroom? If you will monitor your students, we can eliminate, or should I say cut down exponentially, some of the day-to-day things that we're seeing if we can supervise. And a lot takes place, believe it or not, during the lunchroom periods and transitions. Again, I ask you to be out very visible outside your classroom doors. This is going to help us in an effort to, again, monitor and supervise our students. Moving fast forward, again, Mr. Graham is looking at lesson plans and modules. He will be checking off in the event that you do not have current lesson plans or modules, you will receive an email. Again, this is just a part of what the expectations are. You expect your students to turn in work by a certain date. Well, guess what? The reality is that we have mile markers as well, and we have to make sure that we're doing and adhering to dates and times. And obviously, to the start of the week, if you have finished your unit, or chapter or whatever it is that you're measuring in respect to the lesson plan or the module, what's printed, then we need to make sure to ensure that we have a fresh set of plans moving forward. Grades and I now, I cannot echo that enough. Again, parents and students are very much in tune with what's being entered into iNow, and we want to make sure that our grades are being entered into iNow in a timely fashion, and that it reflects the 75-25, that we're giving adequate assessments that really reflect the standards. And certainly talking to our special ed and our ESL, we want to make sure that we're working with those two groups as well to ensure that whatever accommodations or potentially modifications that need to be made, that we're in fact doing that as well. So I just wanted to make sure that you're abreast of that. Walkthroughs on last week I felt went very well. There were some things that the team saw that we see every single day as an administrative team here. And we want to note that certainly our learning targets were very visible and certainly were covered. Now, at what level, that's what we want to continue to work on. When we think about our DOK, or depth of knowledge, we want to know that the depth of knowledge is certainly challenging, not just memorization, but we're asking our kids to analyze, to synthesize, to predict, to make judgments, to be able to defend and justify. Those are the types of rigor, or rigorous, should I say, assignments and activities and knowledge-based concepts that we want to make sure that we're adhering to as we disseminate information to our students and formatively assess that. So definitely, if you were a part of our core teaching group on yesterday, or should I say on last week, then you got an opportunity to get some very quality feedback, and we want to ensure that that feedback continues. Also, we want to talk about bell-to-bell instruction. Certainly, when we go into your classrooms, there should be very robust lessons, assignments that you are covering, and more importantly, there shouldn't be a lot of downtime. The reality is, once we leave one transition should I say one lesson, one activity, one assignment. We should have a transition in place. So when I say transition in place, we should be able to, once I complete this assignment, this assessment, this whatever, then we should be able to know that I transition into this next assignment, this next read, this next whatever that needs to look like in your respective classes. Because what I'm seeing, or what we're seeing, is that once a student finishes an assignment, he or she just puts their head down on the desk, and we have 25, 30, 45 minutes just of wasted instructional time, or that we send kids out into the hall. Let me tell you right now, that's a no-no. We do not need to send students out in the hallways, because what we've noticed is students are on their cell phones, they're interacting with other students as they go up and down the hallways, and they're off task. And again, once again, we have basically no instruction going on whatsoever, a waste of student instructional opportunity. So that being said, do not send your students into the hallways just to sit while the remainder of the class take a test. We're not doing that. Do not do that, because what I'm going to do, if I see that, is I'm going to send that student right back into that class, and you do not want to interrupt students trying to take an assessment. So having said that, let's move forward and ensure that we're keeping kids supervised and we have great transitions in place as we move from one assignment to the next. Also, absenteeism is at an all-time high at Pinson Valley High School. We want to make sure that if we know we're going to be absent, that we do not wait until midnight or 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning the day of to try to get in an ASOP substitute, because what that's going to do is put Ms. Gardner and a lot of your colleagues in a very tough situation. If you know you're going to be absent, go ahead and reach out to administration, reach out to Ms. Gardner, and also make sure that you're putting these absences in on ASOP. And if at all possible, try your absolute very best, and you know your body or your situation better than most, to get here and be here, because it makes a difference when you're in your classrooms teaching. Also, I do not want to spook or jinx anyone in respect to our boys basketball team. But if we win, or should I say when we win on Tuesday, then certainly we're looking to, in an effort to allow student buses to be traveling to JSU. And what I mean is that if we, or should I say when we win on Tuesday, that this upcoming Friday we have a morning game. And so those students who choose to participate in traveling from here to Jacksonville State to observe the basketball game, we're going to afford them that opportunity to do so. Of course, our band, cheerleaders in the team, etc. So that being said, want to put that on your radar. So certainly keep close watch when we went on Tuesday to adjust and modify your lessons for Friday. That being said, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to administration and continue to do what you do every single day, and that's make the difference in the lives of your students. Thank you so much. And remember, here at Pinson Valley, I almost forgot, we promote achievement, respect, and success. Have a blessed day.